Hey guys, it's Blady again from Corridor Security, and today we're looking at two high-end micro subwoofers. Okay, so if you've watched our last video, we looked at micro active subwoofers under £200. Now, today we're looking at micro passive subwoofers under £500. So passive meaning non-amplified. In the last video, you would have noticed those subs had amps built in. These don't have amps built in, but these are the higher end, slightly bigger woofers, and I'll go through it a bit more in depth in a second. But to my right here, we have the Audison APBX 10DS. And this is a 10-inch driver. Both subs are 10-inch. We'll go through the specs in a moment, but 10-inch driver in a micro enclosure. This is a sealed enclosure, this one. Now to my left, we have the JL CP110 LG TW1. Now this is, again, 10-inch driver in a ported enclosure. This is slightly bigger. Now, for the time being, we'll look at the Orderson, we'll go through the specs, we'll show you physical size, then we'll go from there. Okay, so the Audison APBX 10DS. So as I've mentioned, it's a 10-inch driver in a sealed enclosure. Now this is one of our best-selling micro subwoofers for the higher end market. The quality and the bass you get out of this is second to none. It surprises a lot of people for the size of it. As you can see, very, very slim. You've got the Orderson logo on the back there. It's very, very small. And obviously you can lay it down flat in the boot, and actually it comes with a little feet. So in the box when you purchase it, it will come with little feet with Velcro pads on the bottom. So you can actually turn it this way around. Now what that does is reflects the bass off of the floor. So if it's in quite a large area, this isn't going to play as well. So if it's in a larger area, you can play it downwards. So it's going to reflect that bass off of the floor and create a bit more of a bigger environment for that bass. 2 ohm final impedance at the terminals here. So obviously your speaker cables coming in here from your amplifier. So it's 400 watt RMS at 2 ohm. Okay, and also the sub, as you can see, is covered with a grille, so it's obviously going to stop any damage coming from this. And this being a shallow subwoofer, obviously, you can see it's a very, very thin box. Now we'll put up the dimensions here now. It's a very, very small enclosure, tiny, tiny little thing, but pushes out a massive amount of bass for the size of it. Now, where would you put this? So this is going to be for the kind of person that wants a lot of bass in their car, but doesn't want to take up a lot of space or hasn't got a lot of space to work with. So what we've fitted this in previous vehicles, so in standard cars, stuff like Audis, BMWs, stuff like that, normal saloon cars, even in those kind of cars, the bass comes through nicely. But in something like a small hatchback, maybe a Volkswagen Polo, for instance, or say Ibiza, these kind of things really do pack a punch. So brilliant, brilliant sub for them. So this is a sealed enclosure, so meaning there's no portholes in it. There's no hole for the air to escape. So that's how they make it so small, because it doesn't need as much internal volume inside the box because it's sealed. Now, what sealed means is essentially, in terms of the bass output, is it's going to be a bit more of a cleaner, a bit tighter bass, but it's not going to be as aggressive and as boomy as a ported enclosure. Okay, so now we've looked at the Orderson, let's change over to the JL Audio. Okay, so this is the JL CP110 LG TW1. Bit of a mouthful, but here we go. So 10-inch driver, as I've mentioned. It does also come with a grille, same as the Orderson. Now, main differences are going to be the physical size. Now, this is slightly bigger, which works well in one way and not so well in another. Obviously, not so well being it's bigger. You're looking for a small sub. This is the bigger of the two, but that will work for you in the fact that the actual enclosure is bigger, which allows it to be ported. So as you can see, there is a hole in the side here. So that's going to give you a much more aggressive, much deeper bass, as well as keeping it nice and clean. So that's definitely something to think about. Now, as you can see, it's still not huge by any standards. I mean, a normal 10-inch box is probably going to sit roughly this high and this wide, but the depth is going to be the main difference. You're probably looking at about this much deeper. So that's definitely a plus. Now, specs on this, you're looking at 300 watt RMS. So it's 100 watt less than the Orderson, but as I've said, it is a ported enclosure and a slightly bigger enclosure at that. So you may find that this actually might sound slightly louder. Now, obviously terminals on the side, same as the Orderson. Speaker cables are going in there from the amplifier, and it is a 2 ohm final impedance, the same as the Orderson. Okay, we have both subs here on the table now, so I'm just going to show you their side-by-side dimension comparisons. So if we put the Orderson in front and the JL behind, so as you can see, slightly wider, side by side, slightly thicker, ever so slightly taller. Very minor difference in height. Obviously when you lay them down, thickness will make a big difference. So obviously the way this JL Audio is designed is to sit upright like this. Obviously you can lay it down if need be. It's going to take up a bit more room than that. This doesn't come with any feet to sit it down on. So whereas the Audison, bring it back up. The Orderson comes with the feet that you can screw into the corners, so you can play it downwards. So even if you do still have a boot full of shopping, you can put stuff on top and not worry about it shaking around. The JL Audio doesn't have that option. But my personal favorite out of the two, I mean, this is definitely by far our best seller, the Orderson. We've done plenty of cars with these in and have plenty of happy customers with these. But I wouldn't disregard this. Definitely a very good option, especially for the person that, obviously if you know the name JL Audio, you know their subs are very, very good, especially their shallow sub options. Okay, so that was a comparison between the two micro subwoofers that we have here, the Orderson and the JL Audio. Now, price-wise on these, as of today's filming, you're looking at £380 for the Orderson and £430 for the JL Audio. We'll pop the prices in now. As I've said, personal preference, it's very, very difficult to choose. I'd probably personally go for the Audison down to kind of price point and power, but as I've said, don't disregard the JL Audio's brilliant sub. Now, that's pretty much it from me. Make sure you like, share and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.